Welcome to the PT Marketing Power Hour, highlighting successful marketing strategies from North America's fastest growing clinics so you can learn from their wins and power your practice growth. We have another great episode today, so don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, here's your host, physical therapist, marketing expert, and CEO of Practice Promotions, Neil Trickett.
Hey everybody, welcome to the PT Marketing Power Hour, highlighting successful marketing strategies from North America's fastest growing clinics so you can learn from their wins and power your practice growth. Today we're focusing on how you can grow your practice even through business challenges and adversity. Today we're here with Sonia and Mark from Optimum Physiotherapies in San Antonio, Texas. They are a fantastic couple here that have made big strides in the marketing of their clinic, and it's really helped grow their practice, and they're here to share what's been successful for them. So welcome, Sonia. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks, Neil.
Great. So today we want to really talk about how you've been able to embody this marketing mindset as practice owners, and how has that really helped you in your practice? So when what have you found to be the most successful thing for you when you're thinking about marketing in your practice?
I guess I'll start just talking about how to focus the marketing, because we want to talk about do we go out in the public, do we go to the physicians, do we go to our the people that we already know? And I found that the expression, the low-hanging fruit, is the best way to start. Those people that already know you, that are familiar with you, and marketing to those group of people, we see the quickest results. So oftentimes we really start with that.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fantastic, because you just hit the nail on the head there. The lowest hanging fruit. Often, as practice owners, we're bombarded with different shiny objects out there that we can chase for marketing, right? And we're always thinking we got to go after the brand new patient. We got to get out in the public. People have got to know who we are. And you can waste a lot of money, can waste a lot of effort. Absolutely. Going after, you're not really targeting your audience, right? You're trying to do a shotgun approach and you're trying to reach out to everyone. Whereas if you narrow your focus and you go after people that know you, that like you, and you can get more of those people coming in and working for you, then off you go, right? So that's a great win right there. So Sonia, what do you think here for you has been successful in kind of the way that you think about marketing, the way that you approach marketing?
So funny story is that whenever we first opened up, it was just me and Mark, and Mark was doing patient care and I was doing everything else. And Mark was getting, I guess, a lot of communication from different people, telling us hey, we can help you with this, we can help you with that. But as a business owner, of course, everybody wants your business and everybody wants to help you do it. And initially I was very no, I don't want any help. I got this. But I think with me, the biggest eye-opening thing was that I didn't go to school for marketing, and I just needed coaching. So anybody that's out there, it's don't try to figure it out on your own. There's people out there that are willing to help you, that have a system that works. So it's I know it's an investment, but it's an investment that's going to pay, it's going to pay you back. So yeah, that's really, yeah.
Yeah, that's great insight, because true confessions of a PT practice owner, we've all been there, right? We've all been there. Mm-hmm. I should be able to do this myself. I'm smart. I can figure this out. I went to school for all kinds of training. But we didn't get the business training, right? We didn't get the marketing training, and that's a whole nother degree right there. That's a whole learning track. So I think one of those things as a practice owner is that you have to educate yourself in marketing. You have to educate yourself in business so that you can make wise choices. Mm-hmm. But one of the wise choices is working with consultants. Mm-hmm. In what we do at Practice Promotions, we have consultants we use, right? Mm-hmm. Because we're not experts in everything, and we need to have business consultants, and we need to have sales consultants, and we have, systems consultants. So it's really important as a business owner to realize that you need to leverage outside experts to get what you need done in the business. So I love the way that you think that way. So one of the things I really admire about you both is the way that you, as practice owners, have embodied the way that you need to think in business. Right? You're great business minds, and I think for a lot of practice owners, they know that they need to do marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They know that's an important part of their business, but we don't often think about the three jobs of a business owner,
Mm-hmm.
and that's promotion, planning, and organization, right? We tend to gravitate a little bit more towards planning or the organizing if things aren't going the way that we want to, or we want to expand a clinic, but we don't put enough of our attention on the promotion part, which is a very critical part of the business. So what I think I've seen in both of you is that you came in more of that promotion part of your business hat. And like, can you tell the audience like how, we started together about April of last year, but how focusing on your marketing, what that's done for your clinic over this year?
Well, I'll take on this one to start, if you don't mind, Mark.
That's fine.
I think with us, I know it kind of worked out in a funny way because with COVID hitting us this year, we decided before we knew that everything was gonna hit us, but we could have easily backed out of it, like of this investment that most people would have been like, that's a huge investment, but or huge expense, I would say. Most people would look at it as an expense. I looked at it as an investment. And I'm like, it takes money to make money. And, I used to hear that all the time. And I was like, I used to be like, no, I don't want to spend. No, I don't want to spend. But I've learned that when you spend, and whenever you spend it in the right way, it's going to come back. So honestly, we made that commitment. We made that investment, and it came back to us through the pandemic, through everything. Our business has been growing consistently every month, which most business, have closed, and there's been issues, and I'm sorry for, for any of that, for anybody. So that's why sometimes it's hard to go on multimedia and share your experience, because I don't want people to think like, oh, I'm here, trying to be like, hey, I'm doing great and this and that, because I know some people are struggling. So I wish I could be there and be like, hey, hang in there, do this, do that, that will help. But, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But I've learned that, like, just get committed. Now, don't commit into any program if you're not going to fully invest yourself into. That's one thing I've learned, because it's like you getting on a diet. You can get on a diet, but if you can have the recipes, you can have the tools to do well with your diet, but if you don't eat the right food, you're not going to success with it. So that's basically, I guess that's my little analogy with that.
And if I can say something along those lines too, what Sonia, I think you're trying to say too, is like, be proactive, just investing in promotion, but actually being involved with it, being involved in the meetings, trying to understand the tools that they use. And of course, you're paying for a service, that for the promotion, practice promotion to do, but you get more out of it. It's kind of like your patients, the more involved they get, the more proactive they get at the house, and take ownership of it, of their exercises, the more they'll get out of the therapy. Well, it's the same thing with promotion. The more you interact and the more you take on involvement with promotion as well, you'll get more out of the service.
Great truth. Absolutely. So, lesson of the story there is to you get out what you put in, right? And just like our patients, when they aren't compliant with the home exercise program, they don't get the best possible results. So if you're putting money into your marketing and you're not participating very well, or you're not keeping a close eye on it, then don't expect the best return out of it. But if you're very into it, right, and you're working with consultants, you're working with experts, and you're really trying to get the most out of it, you are going to get the most out of it, going to get the most ROI. Sonia, you said the right thing there, where, from a business standpoint, from a practice owner standpoint, you need to invest in your marketing. Sometimes we really look at things from an expense that we're going to have to pay money out for this thing, but we don't look at necessarily the outcome of that. So if I put $10,000 into this thing this year and it produces me 50,000 or 100,000 more, that was a great investment, right? You can't even get that on the stock market. So it's really important to look from the marketing mindset of how much investment am I getting out of my marketing? Am I putting enough into this? Some interesting statistics here is that the Small Business Administration says that small businesses range anywhere from 10 to 12% of their gross income spent towards marketing across all industries. But there were some great studies done, or some analysis. WebPT does a great one each year with like 700, 800 or thousands of practices. And it's interesting because most practices are spending less than 2% of what they make towards marketing. So when the practice struggles and you wonder why, take a good look at how much you're spending on your marketing. And is that giving your business enough? Is it feeding enough patients into it to make it grow?
So that's funny that you say that, because that's how we were initially. Like whenever, the first few years, that's how we were. We were putting little bit. But then if you don't put in the right area, even the little bit you put in, if you don't use it wisely, you get absolutely no return. And then when we changed our mindset, that's when we saw the results.
Fantastic. And so I think we were talking, you said October was actually your best month ever. Is that right?
Yeah. So even through the whole pandemic and everything is, we, by comparing data from a year to another, we share that with our staff, and it's getting them so pumped up. Like it's awesome to see that we constantly growing, and I guess it has a lot to do with the marketing, honestly, because people find us, people come back, it's all about the marketing.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're doing a great service, if you're getting wonderful outcomes with your patient, marketing can be a breeze, right? Because you're just putting fuel on the fire. If you're not getting good results with your patient, you can spend a lot of marketing and you're not going to get that far. So obviously that's a testament to how you run the clinic and how you help people get good outcomes, and you can easily promote that. So you're growing. But what a testament to you guys being able to make it happen, right? And I think in one of the hardest years in any business economy, you're growing, right? And you had your best month ever. So that just says so much to what the challenges that you've overcome, the marketing mindset that you have, and how that's helped you get to where you are today. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you do to help with your marketing that's been very successful. One of the things that I see is that you're very involved with your marketing from the content side of things. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the things that you like to show to your audience, some of the things that you do within the clinic to like take pictures, videos, things like that?
Yeah, and Sonia, perhaps maybe she does a little bit more of that. She'll go into the she's more on the floor than I am nowadays, but she'll get with the therapist, have them get more involved, doing mini videos on maybe some balance exercises, maybe different ways to stretch your lower back. I mean, just little clips, and she'll post it on our social media platforms. But I was gonna say as well, like before signing on with y'all, I had no idea how to blog. I had no idea how to post things on social media. I had no idea how to navigate with WordPress or create a landing page. I got a lot of that training through you, and your staff. So I'm very grateful for that, because it's been an education for me too, that I learned how to do those things. And that's not to say that practice promotion wouldn't do it for me, but I'm just that kind of person where I like to learn that as well. So I love that training, and your staff is very supportive with that. If we had any issues, they would help us with that. So that was just something I wanted to mention about some of the things that I've learned in these last few months.
Yeah, that's awesome because again, it's a collaboration, right? And so if you are using outside help, consultants, agencies, things like that, it comes back to what we're talking about before, where we're participating, but we're learning as we go along. What you know your unique clinic's abilities and things that your audiences that you talk to. So having it come from the owners is really important, and knowing how to use your systems, how to use techniques for marketing is critical, right? You're involved, you're part of it. Sonia, what you said Mark was saying that you go around and you get some help from the PTs, taking videos and things like that. What other things do you find that's been successful for you in getting good content together, good pictures and video and things?
So my main thing is like whenever I like data. So whenever I look at our past posts, like out there in the media, I look what has been working, what hasn't been working. And so if you find something that's been working, reproduce it. That's really my main thing. Is like don't reinvent the wheel. It's there. But what I've learned about us is that anytime we have posts that are highly successful, it's because it's something personal to us. So where the staff is in there, where it's one of the procedure that we do here. If I take a picture from a website and post it and put something on it, it's the people are going to look at it, but I'm not going to get the same result as if I put one of our staff and it's personal and it's people come to us because just our mission, how we are, it's family orientated, it's very personable, and it's basically the content you're going to put out has to reflect what your mission statement is. That's one of the big thing, and it does, because when people walk in here, it's like everything I read about you guys is true. That's what they tell us all the time. And so if you posting something from somebody else that is not who you are, when they walk in, it's that's false advertisement right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that's really the best way I could put it.
Yeah. So, what you're talking to right now is branding. And branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Right. So if they're coming in and they're saying, wow, I've heard great things about you and I see all the great posts and, I see like all these success stories out there. That's branding. That's good PR and public relations. People are excited. They get piqued, they get interested, that they know others have had success with you. And that's what people gravitate towards. So I love hearing that, what you're talking about with that. So again, coming back to, if you want to make your marketing more successful, you got to do what Sonia and Mark have done and go to their website, look up Optimum Physiotherapy in San Antonio, Texas, and Google it and just kind of look, right? Because when you go to their website, they've done an amazing job of taking a lot of photos within the clinic, videos within the clinic, and they're able to portray that through their website, through their social media, through their even direct mail and marketing that they do to their patients through their patient newsletter. They showcase all the stories that are happening in the clinic, and we have amazing stories of getting patients better in the clinic. But if we don't share it, if we don't promote that, then people don't know how we can help them, right? So check them out, because they've done an amazing job with that and give you a lot of ideas, a lot of inspiration around what you can be doing to promote your clinic better using your team, right? Get pictures with your team, have your therapists do a little tip or advice on a video. That's kind of things are really powerful to share. So Mark, you've done a little bit of promoting in the community too. What are some of the things that you've done to be successful in getting your name out there, getting in front of people in the community?
I organize, definitely organize the workshops, and I've come to really get to involve other small businesses around the community. I'll go to local gyms. Maybe I'll go to a rock climbing gym. I'll perhaps go to a martial arts gym. Right now, I'm been doing a lot of marketing to the golf community here in town. Um, and I'm finding partners that I can give value to what they offer their clients, and them giving me access to their list, to their clients, so that we can do promotions. Maybe we'll do talks on specific injuries for their type of clients, or best way to improve a golf swing for for their clients. But really, it's trying to constantly look for new partners to work with, and and do some co-op with some
Oh, we lost Mark.
um,
No, you're good. You're there.
excuse me. I haven't been doing in the clinic just because it's been a challenge with COVID. I'm not going to say it hasn't, but we're now actually going to start doing. We're actually going to start trying to. We're preparing for our first webinar ever. We're going to do it here in February the 2nd. So we're kind of excited about that. We've been getting help with practice promotion on train on how to get that together. So we just kind of also had to do a little adapt a bit with this situation and go a little bit more online. We've been moving that way, but and maybe I could have been a little faster about it, but we're definitely in that direction.
And I think you were mentioning that to me earlier, that you've noticed a trend, right? You've promoted harder this last year towards the community, right? You've had a bigger, broader online presence. You've been leveraging your past patients and your customer list.
Mm-hmm.
How's that impacted your clinic? And like, are you dependent on physician referrals as you used to be?
Oh, I mean, most definitely. We do not depend. Maybe our referrals are maybe 10% of our referrals come from physician offices. We really focus on direct marketing to the public. We are really trying to get down concrete our internal marketing first. But that doesn't mean I'm not going out into the community, right, and do these workshops with local businesses. But I don't want to mislead y'all. I want y'all to understand, like, we really focus on this internal marketing first. That's priority, and then we go into more into the community as well. But maybe the result is just more consistency. Even during this time, we're consistent. We haven't closed. Maybe it was 2 weeks during this time, during this whole COVID period, that we had very low volume, and it was initially when we had a big breakout, and it was perhaps a shock to the community. But besides those 2 weeks, we started quickly getting our volume back, and we didn't get it overnight. It took a few weeks, but we eventually found this equilibrium, and I want to attribute that to practice promotion and our efforts with internal marketing. I really think that was a big contributing factor to that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, and again, it comes back to, as a practice, there's so many people out there that we can help. They don't even know, first of all, like, why they should even go see physical therapy. So we got to get in front of them and tell them why. But there's tens, not hundreds of thousands of people in your area that can use you. And if you're not getting in front of them, then you're missing huge opportunity there for your
Right.
business.
You definitely have to bring awareness. Bring awareness, and you have to give them a call to action. Get them into the clinic and give them a clear call to action at these events. Otherwise, a lot of times people won't move.
Mm-hmm. You were saying too a little bit about more in your internal marketing. So you are doing different marketing to your past patients and your current patients. So what kind of things are you doing there?
Sonia, you want to speak on that?
So we send monthly birthday cards. So patients that have not been in the office in a while, we send them monthly birthday cards, and we do have a laser. So we do tell them, hey, as a birthday gift, we'll give you a complimentary, laser session. Believe it or not, people take you up on that. They'll call you, and in order for them to do that, we have to have them sit down with one of the PT and see why they're doing it. And guess what? Patient gets reactivated. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So there's that, but we do the newsletter. So it's funny because when we signed on with you, I did not sign on for the newsletter because I was like, no, I don't want to spend extra money. Let's find out the digital version. And so through COVID, at the beginning. And so I was like, no, I don't want to do this. But then funny thing, business picked up, and I'm like, hey, let's try it out. And within, I think, 2 newsletters, um, patients start calling and say like, hey, I got this, I have a new injury, I want to come back. Uh, just making it personal too. They know, hey, it's still Mark and Sonia in there. It's still the same people in there, and people just start calling you. So yeah. You just have to do, you just have to do it. So we do the newsletter online and by mail. So is it an expense? No, I think it's really an investment because hey, I'm guilty of it. No, I don't want to spend the money. But it's funny, we went from a list of 500 to now we have like 1,500 going out. So it's pretty cool. And sometimes patients, uh, we had a patient, I remember we had treated the wife, but the husband got the newsletter. And I'm like, sir, and I always ask, how did you hear about us? I got this thing in the mail with y'all's picture on it. And so it's like, and my knee hurts and the article is about knee. Can y'all help me? And so it's kind of funny when you hear that. And then whenever they come in, I don't know their story, but then as we talk, then I found out that a son was a patient or the spouse was a patient. So it's kind of funny how you put pieces together.
Yeah.
So,
And sometimes it's hard to tell like where that marketing path came from. And so a good question, actually, this is a good tip for the audience here. Train your front desk staff to ask this question is, what made you come in today, or
how did you hear about us?
How did you hear about us?
Yeah.
What is the first thing that made you think about us? That helps you get down to the root. So sometimes it might be, hey, I got your newsletter, but then I looked at you on the website and then I, called to make a free screen. So you got that free screen, but then you're like, oh yeah, I found you on Google, right? So you didn't get necessarily down to the trail of what sparked it off. But that's the thing with marketing, right? You're trying to get all these different things out in different places so that you create your awareness out there. And then there's going to be that catalyst when people come down through usually into your website and then make the phone call or fill out the form or whatever it's going to be there. So that's wonderful to hear that. And so successful actions here, you've definitely been leveraging your customer list. You've been marketing consistently using a very important tool for marketing, which is your patient newsletter. And you've made sure that you've got that newsletter in front of enough, as many people as you can. I always say as many eyeballs as you can. So you've done it digitally, right? You send it out via email, you send it out on your social, and then you also make sure that people see it in their mailbox, right? When it's in the mailbox, they have to physically touch it. They have to take it out of their mailbox and look at it. They see your information, your logo. They remember, oh yeah, my knee's starting to bug me again. I got to call. Sparks that conversation, right?
Not just that, it looks beautiful. I think like it's just such a beautiful newsletter. And when some patients, they came and treated with us at the very beginning. So the clinic was not at all how it used to be now, like, because we've grown, we've invested. So people, like, they see that, they're like, hey, these people are doing good, like that's a very beautiful, well done, newsletter. So people, like, they take you more seriously. Honestly, I think whenever aren't we like that? We judge books by their covers. You see something, it's wrapped well, it's easy on the eye, and you're like, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to use.
Yeah.
So
that's wonderful advice, because you are you're as good as you look, right, to someone else, right? And so from a business perspective, from a branding perspective, if you're thinking with purely on finance, purely on expense, you're going to try to seek out the cheapest website possibility, the cheapest, maybe you'll spend a little bit less on this type of paper for a brochure because it cuts the cost down. But you're not looking at from the other end, which is the experience for someone and how it's making your practice look in their eyes when they get something very professional in front of them. It's going to make them think more highly of you, right? If you think about your own experience, if you go to a doctor, right? Or if let's say we're going to go see a doctor, but we get to the doctor's website and it looks cheesy. Your confidence automatically lowers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, okay, maybe I'll give them a chance, right? There's no online reviews, right? Or one or two, right? This whole thing just starts to lower your confidence as a consumer. So the same thing's happening to your potential patients out there, that if you're not creating enough of that marketing image, that brand image with your marketing materials, it's hurting your online presence. It's hurting your overall brand presence. So very important concept there for our audience to to think about too is it's not just about getting the least costly thing. It's about getting the right media and the right visuals out there. I think too, coming back to what you guys do so well, which is leveraging a lot of pictures, a lot of video within your clinic to use in your marketing materials. You do them very nicely. You think about the shots a little bit. You think about the visuals, backgrounds, things that's going to pop out there, and that's part of that brand imagery there. So that's I would probably say too, a little bit of advice for folks is you're trying to create a little bit more pictures and video within the clinic. Try to do it right. It doesn't have to be super professional, but don't just take a picture with someone. Look at the background. Have a decent iPhone or camera to take that with so that it looks good.
Good sound.
The sound, right?
Yes.
Microphone all that goes a big way. So yeah, definitely get to look at that. And so just kind of wrapping up here, overall, what's kind of your takeaway here from your marketing that you've done, your mindset, the online presence expansion, all those kind of things that you've done. How have you used that, and what advice would you have for other practice owners out there to help them grow through adversity?
My advice is, so it's funny because I've learned to delegate things, which is huge for me because I used to do it all, and Mark's agreeing with me. But there's so much I can do. And so whenever, for a while I was by myself, handling the reception. So I couldn't do nearly as much marketing, which I love marketing because you get what you put in. So that's the part that I like because you can control it. But I noticed whenever I wasn't putting any pictures out there, any post out there, it, numbers dropped. So we get less phone calls versus whenever, like now I have a staff that I assign him, like the responsibility. I'm like, okay, you get so many days where you're doing marketing. And the tools that you have are awesome, with practice promotion, because you put it in one website and you put it, like you post to Facebook, Instagram, and, Google and everything. And it's like, I used to do it by myself, and oh my gosh, I was wasting so much time just putting into all the different outlets. Here you put it in one place and it goes everywhere else. So again comes the part where whenever you work with the right people, you save a lot of time. And I've learned that time is money. So by doing that, but then it's funny enough, Aaron is the person that's helping us here doing marketing. And I told him, I said, Aaron, I was looking at the data on how, when I used to post, the numbers and, how it was affecting, people reaching out and people taking actions on it. And I said, I can post all day, every day, but if people are not looking at it, it's irrelevant to me. I said, so looking back, I said, if whatever you, I'm like, just think about what do you want to see whenever you're on the internet. I'm like, if that's not something that you would take action on it, then it doesn't need to be there. That's what I tell him. I said, so whenever I market, I'm like, I look at things that talk to me. So, I mean, it's your business, your culture. So post things that are relevant to you. If you go and take somebody else's post, you don't know what their culture is. So then you just definitely not going the right direction. So that, and then I'm going to tell you 80% of our patients are, when I ask patients, where are you finding us from? They say Google. So the more you post, the more you're active, the more people will find you. And that's just reality. And so when my numbers went down because I wasn't posting, people weren't calling us. And as soon as we start publishing like every day, numbers are going back up. You're there in people's face. And I mean, it's a fact. I'm not making up things, it truly is a fact.
I want to give credit to some of your staff. Neil, Sam was a great help with helping us understand that, like how to increase your presence online so that you get ranked higher on Google searches and things like that. Her and your staff really do a good job on training us on how to do that kind of thing.
Fantastic. Yeah. It's a jungle out there on the internet, and you're fighting for eyeballs, right? And you're fighting for ranking, and you're in the Google beast, or the Google world. And so it comes down to, right, putting the right things out there, things that people will engage, enough frequency in it. And so at the beginning, we talked about, as a practice owner, sometimes we don't put enough emphasis on marketing, right? We don't think about it as much because we're wearing our PT hat, or we're over here trying to put out fires with our staff, or other issues that are coming up in the clinic. But sometimes there's the other side of it too, where the practice owner does want to spend more time on their marketing, and they're trying to work on it, but they're not delegating it, right? They're not giving ownership of that to someone who can help them in the clinic. So they get bogged down in not being able to get enough promotion out, enough marketing out, because they're the bottleneck in this whole thing, right? So you did the right thing, where you saw, hey, I need as an owner here, I can look at the big picture, I can approve things, but I need someone helping me to make this happen. And so you did the absolute right thing, where you started to delegate that. Now you can churn out even more marketing, and you're guiding it, right? But you're not the thing that's controlling just the amount of volume that can be done, right? So that's good advice too for practice owners out there. There's this kind of limitation sometimes in your business before you get to the next threshold, where you become the bottleneck as the owner, right? And you need to delegate, build your team, train your leaders, and they can help you with marketing, with being a clinical director, being a front office administrator, whatever help you need to take your business to that next level. So fantastic advice, guys. I really appreciate taking the time to be with our audience today. You've done an amazing job of growing your practice through one of the most challenging years probably ever in business. But you made it happen, and you made it happen because you had the right marketing mindset. So congratulations on that. So thanks so much for being on the show here. And we look forward to helping our audience with more advice and tips from practice owners out there in the field. And thanks again, Sonia. Thanks again, Mark, for sharing your awesome advice.
You bet.
Yeah.
Thanks again for joining us today. Be sure to check out practicepromotions.net/power. There, listeners can download over 9 checklists and free resources made to coach you through simple, proven marketing actions to increase new patients. So check it out today. That's practicepromotions.net/power, and I'll see you next time.